World War I was a global nightmare, lasting not one night, but all of 4 years. While war symbolizes blood and death on the battlefield, it never mentions the devastation mothers faced upon learning their little soldiers wouldn't be returning home. Until a courageous woman stood up for those mothers, Jane Addams. Addams' strong intellectual views about a mother's role in supporting pacifism during World War I revealed the true political capabilities of women, helping them earn the respect they'd been waiting for. When Jane Addams witnessed female helplessness during the Spanish-American War, pacifism became her goal. Ancient societal norms deemed women too inferior to protect their sons. Addams criticized society's principles in her 1907 book, Newer Ideals of Peace. She stated, "Old-fashioned ways which no longer apply to changed conditions are a snare in which the feet of women have always become readily entangled." Addams stated that a woman's biggest responsibilities were her maternal responsibilities. Mothers produce their children, so they're responsible for their lives. This is what those same societal norms state. If so, when the men in government sent so many young boys into the military for war, weren't women responsible for protecting their sons' lives? Shouldn't mothers have a right to say whether their sons should be sent into war, whether a war should be fought at all? Aren't societal norms now stopping women from obeying their maternal responsibilities? While her questions were ignored, Addams' ambition was admired. The Los Angeles Herald named her as the foremost loving woman in America. The Ottumwa Tri-Weekly Courier named Addams as a notable attendee at a National Peace Congress. Soon, however, peace seemed impossible. In 1914, World War I began. But as soon as war began, Addams started devising a plan that could save several lives or earn her several years of painful criticism. It did both. Addams joined Carrie Chapman Catt to organize a peace convention in Washington, D.C. in January of 1915. Catt was a valuable ally of Addams. She was a major suffragist, and she thought that proving women's abilities in politics would be a great way to advocate for the woman's right to vote. Her speeches helped Addams get another perspective of how to amplify women's voices. The organization formed in D.C. was named the Women's Peace Party. These women shared one ideal. Women were the mothers of humanity, and there was nothing more heartbreaking than knowing your child will never come back from the battlefield. Addams delivered her address on January 10, 1915. She had 5 pacifist principles. War destroys the protection of human life, the nurture of human life, the fulfillment of human life, the conservation of human life, and the ascent of human life. Mothers are responsible for their children's lives. It's their duty to protect them. They wanted to stop the waste of years of hard work nurturing their children. Mothers hope their children will achieve more than them because it would mean their lifetime of devotion would have succeeded. They committed their whole life to their children. Of course they want their children's lives to be conserved, so they can earn more achievements and be respectable in society. Addams' principles started the ripple of determination in mothers to finally advocate for their own decisions. The 1915 Hague Convention took place from April 28th to May 1st of 1915 in the beautiful Netherlands city of Hague, known for hosting many international peace congresses. Addams was named the Congress's president. 1,000 women from a dozen countries attended this Congress with one goal: to finally bring those grieving mothers a voice. This Congress was a milestone for women in politics. It was the first time that so many women had granted themselves the authority to discuss such important international matters on their own. As word spread, newspapers from Mississippi all the way to Alaska, to Kansas, to Connecticut, and even Massachusetts were eager to discuss this Congress. But publicity brought criticism. British militant leader Emmeline Pankhurst said, "Those running this conference have no political influence. This is not the time to talk peace." While these women didn't admit defeat, there were disagreements in this Congress. Many women were biased towards their nations in war, so they couldn't devote themselves to bringing global peace for everyone. However, Addams' concluding speech united them. She stated, "Soldiers who say to their hospital nurses, 'Cannot the woman do something about this war?' Are you kind to us only when we are wounded? Soldiers questioned their mothers. In childhood, their mothers took care of everything, from nursing their smallest bruises to removing obstacles in their goals. That's what mothers are responsible for, to make sure their children are healthy and successful. Addams emphasized that maternal responsibilities don't end after a certain age. Your child will always be there, wanting your guidance and love. When the Hague Conference concluded, the convention delegates agreed on 20 resolutions, all with the focus on empowering women, encouraging them to participate more in international and parliamentary affairs, and to mobilize the mothers of the world as peace activists. As stated in the book Women at The Hague, we women in International Congress assembled protest against the madness and the horror of war, involving as it does a reckless sacrifice of human life and the destruction of so much that humanity has labored through centuries to build up. Addams and Aletta Jacobs were chosen as envoys to urge world leaders towards peace. One of the first female Dutch physicians, Aletta was a major feminist. She was the one who encouraged Addams to discuss this international matter outside of America to further prove women's capabilities. On the journey to Berlin, Alice Hamilton, an old friend of Addams, did accompany them. Addams combined her medical achievements into working for social reform. She was a valuable ally for Addams as well. Despite their professions, however, they all received an insulting welcome in Berlin. American Ambassador James W. Gerard said, "Early summer brought all a number of cranks to Berlin. Miss Addams and her fellow suffragists, after holding a convention in Holland, moved on to Berlin." Women also criticized Addams' efforts. Dr. Leonie H. Fordham, participating in a different peace conference in America, criticized Addams for being too ambitious to go out internationally. U.S. Presidents Theodore Roosevelt and Woodrow Wilson, while sympathetic towards Addams' intentions, often publicly dismissed the ideals of the female pacifist movement. Roosevelt once stated that war is men's business and women had better not meddle. Wilson addressed the American Federation of Labor Convention by saying, "My heart is with them, the pacifists, but my mind has a contempt for them. I want peace, but I know how to get it, and they don't know." America entered World War I on April 4, 1917, all of Addams' efforts being ignored. However, they weren't fruitless. Without Addams, it is possible that women would not have been granted the right to vote in 1920 because they wouldn't be trusted to know enough about politics to make intelligible decisions. Addams proved women capable by organizing international congresses, conducting peace resolutions, and giving professional speeches about how war is both morally and economically wrong. For all of her admirable efforts, Addams became the second woman, first American woman to receive the Nobel Peace Prize in 1931, finally proving to the world how capable women actually are. While Addams did pass away in 1935, her empathetic ideals did not die with her. Many present-day women pacifists have used the legacy of Addams. Betty Williams was fighting religious conflict in her country, North Ireland. Every single death in the last 8 years and every death in every war that has ever been fought represents life needlessly wasted, a mother's labor spurned. This mirrored Addams' second principle in her Women's Peace Party address. Addams had also talked about how a mother devotes all of her life to the nurture of her children, but war destroys all of that hard work. Shirin Ebadi of Iran was fighting for children and women to have a right to speak up in her country.
It's women who raise children and future generations who will have an impact on their society. So it's important and vital that women are given an active role.
This echoed Addams in her book, Newer Ideals of Peace. Addams had also stated that societal norms were stopping women from obeying their maternal responsibilities because women couldn't protect their children if they were sent to war, and women didn't have a say in that decision. Lema Gabovi of Liberia successfully ended the Second Liberian Civil War with her protests.
We felt it was our moral duty to stand as mothers, gird our waists to fight the demons of war in order to protect the lives of our children, their land, and their future.
Addams would definitely agree that it was a mother's duty to protect her children's lives. Addams' strong determination helped several mothers prove to the world how they can advocate for their opinions. Jane Addams was the sunrise for women, bringing them rays of appreciation, authority, and opportunity.